Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Gianni DePoce here with you. And we're seeing stocks climb higher once again. It's a rather quiet week here on the Geocosmic front. No big signatures taking place, but we are looking forward to next week, next Wednesday, December 10th, when the Federal Reserve will be lowering interest rates again by 0.25%. And I especially have my eyes on Neptune changing directions and going stationary direct on that same day. Now, there also is a square between Mars and Saturn on Monday the 8th. But again, this week kind of quiet. And, we are in this seasonally bullish period of the year. And that does point to higher stock prices. It does look like we had a cyclical reset a couple weeks back. But it is worth keeping in mind that the back half of the month of December is historically even more bullish for stocks. So once you get into late Sagittarius, even into early Capricorn, it's kind of like that act of the final balancing of the books, that very Saturnian principle, like of accounting, if you will, and everyone's positioning for the year ahead. So the Dow's up about 0.8% right now, near the highs of the day. The Nasdaq was leading in the pre-market, but then there was some false reports that surfaced about Microsoft, sent the Nasdaq tumbling lower. It has recovered here so far, but lagging a little bit behind compared to the Dow. You take a look here at Microsoft. You had that big open lower, and it's trying to recover here some. But I think the bigger story in the Mag 7 space actually has to do with names like Tesla and Apple. Tesla looking better and better. Remember, Tesla has not hit a new all-time high this year. And so going into 2026, when we have Uranus making the definitive ingress into the sign of Gemini, this could be a big stock to definitely keep a close watch on. And then, of course, there's Apple, which hit a new all-time high earlier this day and has since pulled back some. We're still only a couple of days out of Mercury retrograde here. Market's still digesting, what's real, what's not, what was said, what wasn't said, what were we looking for, what was heard, what wasn't heard, the usual Mercury retrograde types of things. So that's what's going on in stocks today. Take a look at bonds. We are bouncing a little bit today. It is worth noting, and let me see if we can pull this up here. USB, yeah. So this is the Chicago Mercantile Exchange 30-year U.S. Treasury bond price. And so you'll see here that we actually took out that low from later in November this week already. But you take a look at the 10-year note. We have not. So that's an important setup. One of the things we look at here at MMA. And now you're seeing bonds rally. We're going into that rate cut next week on the same day that Neptune is going direct. And to me, that says something when it comes to inflation or growth, or perhaps even irrational exuberance, right? There's a lot of similarities now between the AI themes and even like the dot-com bubble of the 1990s. And there's even a similar position when it comes to Saturn in the zodiac in that regard. But that was during a time when Alan Greenspan, Fed chair at the time, mentioned those infamous words, irrational exuberance. And Neptune is very much a planet that represents that. So could Powell actually surprise us, Fed Chair Powell surprise us and be more dovish than expected? Perhaps, say something along those lines. If, he was ever to do something like that, a Neptune stationary direct day would seem like the appropriate day to do so. But Powell's term only lasts another 6 months or so, because by the time we hit summer of 2026, we'll be looking at a new Fed chair. And it does look like the new one has all but been nominated, not formally, not officially, but there is a new Fed chair coming in the works. So let's go ahead and take a look at crude oil. A little bit of a bounce today, but nothing that's really that exciting. Still having some issues. Again, I think that as long as Saturn and Neptune are close to one another in the zodiac, we're still in late Pisces right now. Crude oil is going to have a rough time. We're going to have to separate those two planets in order for crude oil to find a better trending direction. That's been the theme now for a couple of years. I mean, you look at what crude oil has done now, even going back to 2022, I think it was like it was like March of 2023 is when you had Saturn start to go into Pisces. And so this whole time, it's been basically lacking direction. So gold and silver, gold still has not hit a new all-time high, but silver has. So this is noteworthy. You can see here that silver hit another new all-time high today. You do have intermarket bearish divergence. Silver's been very strong, and usually this is late cycle behavior. So I know that Ray and Wyatt have been sharing some new cycle outlooks on this front. Would definitely recommend that you check those out because it could be very important as we go into next year as well. Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar is getting sold rather hard today. The euro is hitting a new high. It did take out this high from mid-November, which is key. This keeps us back in the uptrend mode, puts us back in the uptrend mode rather after hitting this higher low here. So looking good on the euro. We're fresh off of a lot of Venus signatures. On Sunday, you had Venus ingress into the sign of Sagittarius, form that trine to Neptune as well. So getting a little bit more direction here. The dollar yen is pulling back. We're still holding that low from Monday, but I'm actually looking for an important bottom here in the dollar yen because I do think that the Bank of Japan is set to be one of the surprise pivots. That's the way I'm seeing it in 2026. So we'll see how that plays out. And of course, we have cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin and Ethereum, nice rallies today. Bitcoin taking out that high from last week. This is a good sign because now you technically have a higher low and a higher high. So interesting price action playing out there. Ethereum's up even more, up almost 5% on the day. So this is a good sign. Still need to get back above these highs from early November if we're going to be focused solely on the trend here and say, hey, it's turning up. But you still have Uranus in those late degrees of Taurus, so need to be mindful of that transit as well. So that's what I have for today, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. We have these videos each and every week. We will be publishing the latest editions of the monthly cycles report next Monday and Tuesday. That's MMA's flagship report where we will update readers on stocks, bonds, commodities, currencies, and more in publication for over 40 years. And we're looking forward to adding another year to that in 2026 as well. So thanks again for watching, everyone. We'll see you again next week. Take care.